In the realm of language enthusiasts, there are few greater enthusiasts than those dedicated to conlangs, short for constructed languages. These are languages intentionally designed by individuals rather than evolving naturally from cultural forces. Conlangers invest extensive amounts of time, sometimes spanning years or even lifetimes, in creating their languages. The process involves much more than simply inventing a few words. It requires careful consideration of phonetics, morphology, orthography, syntax, and semantics, among other aspects, as highlighted in Mark Rosenfelder's The Language Construction Kit. An essential aspect of conlang creation is familiarity with various existing languages. Relying solely on English as a reference would mean missing out on the rich diversity of sounds and systems that humans have developed. Conlangers face intriguing choices when developing their languages, such as deciding whether to follow the agglutinative structure of Turkish, the subject-object-verb pattern found in Japanese, or the ergative-absolutive alignment like Basque. While the practical applications of conlangs in the real world may seem limited, their history enriches our overall understanding of language, exploring its potential, limitations, and beauty. A renowned conlanger, J.R.R. Tolkien, the linguist and author of The Lord of the Rings, found genuine passion in crafting his fictional Elvish languages, Quenya and Sindarin. Inspired by the beauty of Finnish and Welsh, Tolkien aimed to give his languages an evolutionary aspect, requiring detailed histories and mythologies for the speakers, leading to the creation of one of the most beloved fictional franchises. Contrastingly, other popular fictional languages, such as Klingon from Star Trek, were designed differently. In the 1980s, linguist Mark Okrand was tasked with devising the Klingon language for the franchise's third film. He deliberately chose rare features in human languages, including an unusual object-verb-subject sentence structure and challenging phonemes to pronounce, aligning the language with the warlike culture of its speakers. Similarly, linguist David J. Peterson, while creating Dothraki for Game of Thrones, focused on multiple synonyms for fighting but excluded words for expressing gratitude. On another project, linguist Paul Farmer crafted the Nasik's language for Avatar to facilitate easy pronunciation for the actors. Although he did incorporate certain ejective phonemes, voiceless consonants produced with a contracted glottis, such as CHA and PA, similar to those found in real-world languages like Mayan and Chechen. Nasik's, as a constructed language, doesn't necessitate the specification of gender in its pronouns. However, it does offer two forms of we've, one referring to me and you and the other to me and someone else. This distinction ensures clarity regarding who is invited to the SAEOIO. Creating a fictional language that sounds authentic requires extensive effort. Yet, despite their intricacies, these constructed languages are seldom actually spoken and used in everyday communication. Among all fictional languages, Klingon boasts the highest number of speakers who can hold real conversations, and they could likely fit onto a single bus. Fictional languages like Klingon, Quenya, and Nasik's were primarily devised for artistic and aesthetic purposes. Nonetheless, some language inventors held more ambitious beliefs. They viewed their creations as improvements over natural languages, capable of unlocking human potential and contributing to a better world. In the 17th century, scholars became fixated on the Tower of Babel dilemma, wherein God purportedly cursed humanity with diverse languages as punishment for building a tall tower. These scholars believed that the inability to communicate was hindering civilization's progress. To overcome this, they sought to surpass God by creating a man-made universal language. One prominent attempt was made by Bishop John Wilkins, who disliked that words were merely arbitrary representations requiring memorization. He envisioned a perfect universal language where the very essence of a concept would be encoded into the word itself, using each letter to represent a hierarchy of classifications. For instance, a dog would be called Zeta to describe its domesticated, land-dwelling carnivore nature with an oblong head and claws. However, this elaborate classification system often resulted in subjective and complex hierarchies, such as categorizing witchcraft under judicial relations, subheading capital crimes. Wilkins' vision ignored the fact that words being arbitrary memorizations is not a flaw, but a feature that facilitates a vast mental dictionary accessible to all, leading to a shared understanding of concepts. Despite Wilkins' failure, the aspiration for a universal language was revived in the late 19th century when Dr. Esperanto, a pseudonym for L.L. Zamenhof, published Lingvo Internacia. This guidebook proposed an international auxiliary language, a backup means of communication for people from different nations. Zamenhof aimed to create a universal auxlang that could benefit humanity. Unlike Wilkins, he focused on ease of learning, borrowing familiar morphemes from existing Indo-European languages to construct a simple, predictable grammar. Esperanto became the most successful real-world constructed language, with hundreds of thousands of fluent speakers, albeit not achieving universal adoption due to the rise of English as a de facto lingua franca after World War II. Constructing languages was not solely aimed at addressing international diplomacy. Some attempted to challenge the Whorf hypothesis, the idea that the language one speaks limits perception and cognition. For instance, more words for colors might enable people to perceive more colors, and having a word for hello in Klingon might make them kinder. This concern about language's impact on human understanding led to the development of Loglan, an engineered language based on first-order logic. Literal translations in Loglan resemble equations rather than sentences, aiming for total unambiguity. However, Loglan's complexity renders it unlikely for anyone to speak fluently enough to test the Whorf hypothesis effectively. The Loglan community even experienced disagreement, leading to the creation of Lojban as an alternative version. Disagreements and offshoots are common among comlangs, including Esperanto schisms that resulted in reformed Esperanto, Edo, Mundalinko, and Romaniko. Despite their mixed historical success, constructed languages offer insights into our perspectives on language. They captivate us with their beauty and variety, but we may also become frustrated with their limitations and concerned about their influence on our thoughts. While a truly universal artificial language may never materialize, the human desire to express oneself in novel ways will continually push the boundaries of language. Constructed languages remain a fascinating and evolving realm with over 500 such languages documented to date. For those intrigued to explore further, Erica Ockrent's book, In the Land of Invented Languages, provides valuable insights into this creative domain.